leave a comment. If you don't like what you see, leave a comment. So I am in my truck. I'm in downtown Johnstown. I'm going to head down to the Johnstown Redevelopment Authority meeting. It's always fun, right? I think they're fun. Grab my sunglasses too for this little walk. Because of course I can't ever see my screen. Ever. When I have my sunglasses on. Hours worth of metering. Flip this camera around here in a second. And just flip it around. Okay, cool. How you today? It's a warm day in Pennsylvania, that's for sure. Heat is doing what it likes to do. It's humid. It's like I got out of the shower a little while ago and dried off. I wondered why. Something smells good. I guess it's either probably that Subway or maybe the pizza shop down the road. I'd imagine the Subway.
She talked to me this morning. She said that
well, and I'm walking out there and I'm going, how many, I don't know if I can put the stadium.
yes.
I was sitting in the car. Cheryl, is the phone?
Hey, question for you guys. You guys mind if I put a mic on your table? Would that be all right? Thanks. Hey,
For the pound key.
so, thanks.
No, something else.
I was just in it. It was.
He's on these seconds.
No, those are.
Is the new
Well, my favorite was, I was in Frankfurt last week, 2 weeks ago. And they texted me, like, "Yeah, we need to maybe figure out that today, or else, gas is gonna get shut off in the house." And I said, "Yeah, I'm out of town." Maybe I need more notice on that with the news. Yeah, that's what I want.
As good as the Boy Scouts.
Maybe better.
Approaching the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, please help us to work for the good of the community today. We thank you for our great gift of American democracy, and let us have a safe celebration of the upcoming Juneteenth holiday. Amen. Okay, we need our roll call, please.
Sure, Mr. Pasquarella? Ms. Hugo? Mr. Hasselring?
Here.
Mr. Zilla?
Here.
Mr. Ray, Ms. Ray? Here.
Okay, can we have approval of the May minutes? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Hasselring?
Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr. Pasquarella?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Trizell?
Okay. All right, and now let's see here, next we have any public comments. Is there anybody on the phone first? Doesn't sound like anybody's on the phone. Is there anybody here as public comments concerning agenda items? Okay, if not, we're going to move on. Let's have the reports. We start with your. Okay, Joel.
Joel, you can go ahead and go first, if that way if you have to go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Joel.
How's everyone? Sorry, I went to the wrong room.
Story of your life.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Take a couple minutes. Well, good to see everyone. Nice hot summer day. I'll get through the financials from a high level. Starting on page 3, continuing to pay down debt. Cash remains steady at this point in the year. Looking at page 4, the total cash receipts. Thus far, you're $300,000 ahead in your total cash receipts. Had a nice collection month in May, collecting almost $1.1 million. And then on page 5, 25, you are about 356,000 ahead or unfavorable variance for the year on your cash disbursements. And you'll see later that's coupled with the admin fee already being paid over and also some capital improvements have already hit this year. So overall, things are remaining steady from an overall cash position. And I suspect that some of those one-time or earlier in the year expenses have already hit before we annualize them. Page 6 is the receipts less disbursements. Right now for the year, you're at 58,000 behind what was budgeted. You did budget $190,000 loss, and you're trending 58,000 unfavorable to that budgeted loss. Page 7 is a look at the treatment fees, and as I mentioned, those are doing well. You're at 317,000 at the budget, and you see the month of May had an 873,000 collected, much like February, 873 on those quarters. You get the nice collections, so 186,000 ahead of budget for the month. The dumping fee, you're 81,000 behind on an annualized basis. Again, the summer months typically are some of the higher dumping fee months, so we suspect to make up some ground there over the summer. And then other revenue, you're up 62,000 compared to budget on all of the revenue. Debt service, of course, is level. You're making those payments as scheduled. You did budget slightly higher than what the actual is, so you're at 49,000 for the year. You're picking up about $10,000 a month there on the budget, so 49,000 for the year. Capital improvement, and you can see here the big expense in May, 253,000. That's causing you to be basically on track on an annualized basis for your budget of 684,000. You were previously tracking favorably against that, but you had the large expense there in May. Page 12 is your chemicals, and trending well there, although you had a $63,000 overspend in May. For the year, you're at 95,000 favorable on chemicals.
And Joel, just real quick, the last page with that 253,000, that was the siphon cleaning that we had done with USG.
That's the capital review.
Sorry about that.
No, I
knew that.
appreciate you inserting the Dorning Point contract. You had that initial payment in January. Otherwise, you're right on budget on that as well. On the collecting and administrative expense, tracking mostly on budget, you're about 21,000 for the year behind budget on that. And the sewer lateral program continues to spend right at the budgeted amount, 171,000 spent to date, and you're within $4,000 in budget. Page 16 is the JRA administrative fee, and you see there, that will come in slightly over budget for the year, just because there's a lag in the way we're computing that. We're using when you do the budget, you don't quite have the prior year's full year of expense in. So once we computed that to actual, the 101,000 was paid over in May, so 525 gets you to the cost allocation plan number that we developed last
So
year.
January, the high point in January was because of payment for the previous quarter of those administrative fees.
It's basically paying, the January payment was paying the entire amount that was budgeted for the year in January. And then we re-looked at what the actual cost.
Oh, that was for 24.
Yeah, so we looked at the 2023 actual costs and then determined that an extra 101,000 you paid over to be in accordance with the cost allocation plan that was previously developed. So that was paid over.
Thank you.
Sure. Other expenses, you're favorable there as well at 45,000. And then on page 18, this is a look at that fixed charge coverage ratio. Again, this is probably the big thing that we're looking at, particularly with the bond council, the rating agency. You're at 0.91 right now. last year through May, you were at 1.6 and you finished at 1.24. Now, there is a timing issue. Last year, you didn't pay that administrative fee over until like the later months in the year, November, December timeframe. And this year, you paid it over a lot sooner, but, and then those capital improvements went out too already. So we need a couple months of, collecting the cash at the higher amount, not having those one-time annual expenses come up, so that we can build that number up. Because we obviously want to be over the 1.1 that's in the bond documents.
So what's the second number in that must exceed 1.1 within, is that ratio 1.0 or what?
It's got to exceed like 1.1 to 1.
Yeah, that's a covenant of our bonds.
Okay.
It's covenant of our bonds.
So you're a little behind there, but again, those one-time expenses are what's sort of causing that. And then the days cash reserved, as I said on the front slide, you're holding steady there. You're at 207 days. In May of last year, you were at 214 days. So holding steady there, but certainly if we can start to build that ratio, that obviously starts to build the cash too. So those are the two things that look to improve here. And I think before, Mark, I know you always ask when we're going to talk to the S&P, but I think we need to wait until we see that improvement in that coverage ratio before we even think about initiating anything with them.
So you're looking again at the fall.
I think that's probably, assuming we start to see that improvement that we anticipate, that would be the time we start to reach out.
Back on page 14, it seemed like we had a pretty big bump in May. We have the hours, so it's curious if you can think about that.
Yeah, if you look at April, I think it was just a timing issue.
Oh, I see, okay.
Like
that
you
was
didn't pay in
two ago.
April, I think it was just
Yep.
the timing when the was not paid.
Thank you.
Yep.
And back on page 18, we have 2023 where we do see handling at 1.1. Have we, I know you're saying we ought to wait till fall in terms of reporting this, but doesn't that show a considerable positive effort on our part or a positive result?
On page 18,
Yeah, for
We-
2023.
2023 is good. They know that number. Yeah, we talked to them last fall about the improvement in that we were doing this reporting. I mean, they may not have seen December, but they had it through like November. So they know that things were on track.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? Good questions. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so we go back to your minute.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just the update for June. The Cambria Route project continues with EDA and EPA. We also have a document that Attorney Garvin is helping with for their RACP funding that I had sent over. And Dr., I need your signature, Dr.
That section 8 RCAP funding,
Correct.
2 pages, that's for Ave Maria or that's for CMA?
No, Ave Maria.
Okay,
Yes. Okay,
so hold that one for CMA that I sent
I will.
and I'll rewrite it for Ave Maria.
Thank you. And I did have a call with Dr. Frem on Saturday, and he had a meeting with Representative Burns to discuss some possible funding for that outstanding $200,000 that we're still working diligently to be able to wrap up to move things forward. And he said that he would get back to me later this week with a response from Representative Burns. JRA, the hospital and the State Theater Foundation met 2 weeks ago, and the outcome of that meeting was that the hospital is willing to work directly with the State Theater Foundation to acquire the property. They worked through some issues that we had early on and concerns just based on the funding that they've received once they do take ownership. And Attorney Barban and I had a discussion about that yesterday also. The hospital's attorney had reached out to Bill last week And we're gonna set up a call just to clarify things, but realistically, if the board's okay, and, you know, that was Bill's question, that if we're comfortable with just stepping back and allowing the hospital to work directly with the State Theater Foundation.
So in essence, JRA would be out of the transaction.
They did ask the State Theater Foundation did ask if we would continue to support any grant applications, if they need some assistance, just
But
as
in
far as
terms of
guidance, ownership, correct, yes. Are we all, okay. Yes,
Hey,
okay.
could I bring up the one other thing about the attorneys
Of course.
here? Attorney Arlene Dudak represented us, and we paid her to do the title search that uncovered the problem at the State Theater. The State Theater would like to hire Attorney Dudak's firm to represent them going forward with the hospital. Arlene Dudak is a great real estate
I
attorney.
think that's exceptionally wise.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that separates us a step further. She expressed the concern that someone could see that as a conflict of interest. My view is that's, if it is a conflict of interest, I don't think it is, but if it were, it could be waived by the client, the redevelopment authority. So if the board could pass a motion waiving any conflict of interest for Attorney Arlene Dudak, firm working for the State Theater.
Can we do that now?
I think so. It's purely an administrative thing, but we should go on record saying the board knows about this and the board's okay
We have
with
a motion to that effect.
Bill, wait, before we do that,
it. Mhm.
can you explain a little bit more for me to understand what the conflict, the apparent
Well,
conflict?
we paid her to do a title report that is technically our property. And anything that could be found out from that, technically, if there's, couldn't be released without our permission. And we're saying we don't care, we didn't do it to obtain a business advantage, we did it to try to help a project go along.
Thank you.
It could be a business advantage.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Do we have a motion that,
I move the waiver.
I second.
okay, roll call please.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Ms. Shuko? Yes. Mr. Hasselring?
Yes.
Mr. Truesdale?
Yes.
Ms. Ray? Yes.
Anything else, Bill,
No,
regarding
no,
State Theater?
that, I just it fit perfectly with what you were talking about.
The JRA is currently applying for blight elimination dollars for the Cornerstown section of Johnstown. The Community Foundation reached out to us, which we always partner with them with blight elimination. And the ask is going to be $175,000. The grant is due mid-July. So I will keep the board aware of where we are at the July meeting as far as the application process.
I have a question. Does the term blight elimination mean demolition?
It does. It's actually specific to Sheasley's property. That's where the fire training facility has been relocated to. There's actually pending board approval today of the parcel where they need to put the fence. So it all pretty much goes hand in hand, but the foundation.
That's
redevelopment
adjacent to the trail.
Correct, exactly, yes. Where we did the work during our sanitary sewer upgrade project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Continuous meetings with Infomark and Eads regarding the grants and the SCADA system. And we do have a meeting with DEP scheduled the 26th. So the team will go to DEP and meet with Chris Criley just to give updates as far as where we are and where DEP sees us moving forward. 339 Walnut Street has been advertised for sale. Although we do have a day set aside to tour the property, there's been numerous folks interested in the property that Mike has already shown the property to, and that they're all excited to provide an economic development plan. So I do think that we will as applicants, just based on the current interest, even before the scheduled tour of the property.
What's the deadline?
Do you remember, Mike, what the deadline is for the submission for the RFP, the economic development?
July, sometime in July.
I'll find out later. I can't remember. The authority did submit the addendum for the DCED grant for blight elimination. They did request a letter from the chairman of the board, and Mark took care of that, and we did get that off to DCD. And last week, I presented to Three Rivers Wet Weather for their monthly meeting. The majority of the attendees were municipalities and engineers from the Elkasand coverage area. And they were very interested in our lateral program and the coordination that we had with member municipalities. So it was a very good discussion. And they actually said at the end that a lot of times everyone thinks the big cities have the answers, but we really did a great job to be able to explain the process from beginning to end. So it was a very nice meeting, and they actually asked if Mike and I would present November at their yearly conference based on funding and our lateral program. So Mike and I will attend in November to present the whole overall as far as funding.
That's great.
You're welcome. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah,
Oh, the access road, Rick, do you want updates on the access road?
you go ahead.
Okay. We are still in the waiting process with DEP with the very last permit where they are requesting it go, this project that was once looked at as a small scale project into the larger, which obviously has a whole lot more pieces for our engineer. And they are saying that they'll still resubmit everything that has been requested in order to get that permit. A lot of it is stormwater, and the PH&FC part is still based on phase 2. That goes hand in hand with the multimodal funding.
So in 2022, from what I've seen, they said this was a small project. And by 2024, it's going to be large.
With a lot of turnover in staff on their end. Not ours. That's why I wanted you to see the emails directly from DEP.
I appreciate that. I tried to, interesting chain of emails. And the comments on the response of our consultant, pretty extensive.
I do feel, although we're very frustrated with the timeliness that this has taken, and obviously that there has been zero construction, and we obviously funded the engineering and design, which was the match to the multimodal funds over the past 5 years, that they are definitely, the trans is doing their due diligence to be responsive to DEP, just with the continuous.
Are we facing any kind of issue with grant deadline?
No, the conference call that we had with PennDOT, because obviously on their end, they don't see a drawdown, because we did the upfront dollars for the match, which was the 30% for the design and engineering. So whenever we had that call and they said that the grant appears to be stagnant, my response was, it's definitely stagnant on your end, but our end, we have funded the full.
But on their end, is there a deadline expected?
No, because we're not the ones that are the issue. So we did the extension, so we have another 2 years. But that's not, it's just not accepted. We have to move this though, that we're gonna be facing.
I understand, I was just concerned about, the grant expiring.
Sure.
And that is taken care of.
No, we do, they've actually, Nikki Donahue was our project manager from PennDOT. We've worked with her for a long time, and she's actually in a new position now. So just last month, we also got a new PennDOT rep. So he's been caught up to speed also.
At some point, we're gonna have to avail ourselves of DCD and the promises the governor has made to expedite approvals. There are some, which we can't talk about, there are possible opportunities for that site, and that seem to be emerging. And this has to be moving forward. I think our consultants have to, just blow the whistle, and that needs to be done.
Well, we had a contract for a certain scope of work. Does this change the scope of work for a consultant? Of course, the fees accordingly.
He said no. I asked Brian Kroll, he's the project manager. The scope of work, I'm sure it does, but as far as the fees, we've exhausted all of our dollars, and he's aware of that. The way it was written was to complete this portion of the design.
So,
In that email, I did give, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I did give to Jim from the senator's office at our last month's meeting. So what I had forwarded you, Jim has all the documentation to take back with him.
I think we need we need to avail ourselves of this, reach out to the DCD. I think we need to have an answer on that before the next meeting with our consultants. I think that's appropriate, and, there is other funding here that we probably be going for in the future, the site funding that is supposed to be expanded in the upcoming budget for development sites. I presume we're gonna be going for a large grant from that program.
Other than staff change, and I can see different names of the emails. Are the regulations changing, were there changes that affected what type of permits were going to be needed? Or is it just an interpretation by a staff member?
It's interpretations by staff members. That's
That's always.
clearly what we have the same problem with the Jackson Business Park. And they got 120 comments. This is like on the third submission.
Exactly. Yeah, it went from maybe 6 to
Every time a person
25.
changes, they're moving the most picky people into that division that handles this stuff.
At least I reviewed an application. At one time, they used to have the
Yeah.
application sitting in an inbox for 7 or 8 years.
And we've easily lost 3 tenants through this process.
This moving along approvals was, I was on that committee, and that's one of the major points of the governor and his economic development team is to move along approvals. So at some point, we're gonna have to avail ourselves of that.
I normally, a council, don't piss off the people who are doing the approval, but I think we've gotten to the point here, we've expended all our funds. We've made multiple submissions. I don't think there's any reason not to go now for it.
Well, yeah, I think
I really, there's nothing we're waiting for that we don't expect to be exactly the same as it's been. You see it that way too?
I do. I don't know, and that's the thing, other than dealing with our legislators, I'm very, a matter of fact, in the meetings that we have, I go through on absolutely everything. We keep
Yeah.
track.
We need to engage Frank Burns. We do, because he also has an ear to the governor.
No, absolutely.
I'm sure he would like to be able to say he's solved the problem.
Sure.
Well,
And-
nobody's solved
and
the
what-
problem, I don't care who it is, but
Yeah.
it seems to be that we're being victimized by changing staff that looks at the same regulations, comes up with different interpretations 2 years apart.
For a site that has been industrial brownfield since the 1850s.
Yeah, I have aerials
Yeah.
from the early 1930s that show that
Yeah.
interesting activity on the hillside.
Any
So-
other questions?
Yeah, so you've only been the interim city manager for a week. You had a work plan, worked on, is that only about as far as you feel?
It is. Yes.
Okay, that's a simple answer, okay. Next, let's go on to the finance directors.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just briefly, some grant funding project updates. The sewer lateral programs continue to be very active. Within the past month, we've accepted and approved 10 applications for the county sewer grant, in addition to our regular loans that we provide. The 2023 audit is being finalized, and I expect to have the draft by the end of this month. I'll keep the board updated as things progress. Earlier this year, we opened 3 CDs. Whenever the interest rate was pretty high. As of the end of May, we have recognized about $58,000 in interest. So by the end of the year, it's gonna be around $160,000. So we can take those dollars, move them into the 2025 JRS budget, and we'll help more homeowners with their sewer laterals, capital improvement projects, whatever. So that's a great move. The monthly reports from Greater Johnstown Water Authority are attached, so we'll print out of the GIS dashboard. Cash disbursements for the month of May. Cambria Ironworks, $12,672.77. The Grand Partnership Fund, $564.99. Centertown Mall, $4,600. $1,235.91. Revolving account, $450,359.65. Johnstown Regional Sewage, $1,332,235.35. The month of May, total disbursements then of $1,800,478.67. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. On the cover page, Cheryl, multi-million grant, what our urban investing fund was talking about. Am I reading that correctly? There's still about $80,000 that we can spend.
What we did was, whenever this holdup took place, is we were able to work with PennDOT because of the dollars that we expended on the Camry Iron, and they actually reimbursed us for $160,000. So that's why you see that there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next we have sanitary sewer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sanitary sewer operations report, the interceptor sewer system. We're still on hold for a final inspection with the Fairfield Avenue project. I think that comes soon.
I'd have been disappointed if you didn't meet that.
Okay, the interceptor maintenance project. Within the last month, we've been trying to develop a scope of work for the inspection of the larger diameter interceptor, which generally goes from Roosevelt Boulevard through Cooper Avenue. Now, I'm focused on it a little bit because it's been 2010 since that was last inspected. And this basically revolves around what I described last month as a sonar inspection. Unfortunately, the cost that came in from one of the contractors we work with included some costs for cleaning, which was not the anticipated scope of work. We're working through some better defined scope of services for the inspection of the Cooper Avenue interceptor for consideration later on this year. Any questions on that? Consent order activities progress report number 32 for the 6-month period ending June 30th, due in July. We just sent out the reminder letters. And obviously, no comments have ever been received from any of the other previous progress reports. So I'll continue working on progress reports. Recall that the 8 flow meters installed 3 months ago in some of the SSOs have now contract has been expired. Those meters have been removed from service, and we remain at 6 out of the 8 have no activity associated with them. So we still have some good news to report there that those 6 have obviously documented their performance, that there is no need for their SSO as they field. And I will couch that on the fact that we got pretty good rain event during that first week of April. I think we get 6 inches of rain for that whole week. So going through that with no SSO activity on the 6 is a good statement to be made. This is some of the information that we anticipate reporting to the DP, as Melissa reported at our meeting coming up on June 26th. That's some good news as we work towards the end of the year with the decision to move forward with their sealing of those. I do want to focus a little bit on some stuff we are going to talk about during that meeting. It's actually the retention of some of the SSOs. Now, I as an engineer go back to the drawings that were prepared in 1916, long before boroughs and townships were created and served by this authority, that showed those sanitary sewer overflows as part of the major siphon constructions. So I'm focused on the word all. Are you really sure you want us to seal all of our SSOs? Or are these capable of being retained for operational redundancy? And what I mean by that is these larger SSOs have 3 pipes. One of them is always not in service. So they should be rotated on a normal basis so that you always have a spare siphon pipe. if the SSO on the incoming chamber is sealed, on a dry day, a person could not get in that vault if there was a blockage of the siphon. So I want to make sure the department is telling us, yes, we want them all sealed so that they are preventing the operational redundancy and us to open a valve to allow flow to go through the one that is not currently active.
DEP ever permitted and said that,
I think that's one of the game plans that I have in mind. What is the rules associated with their retention? Okay?
you know, in the Georgetown area, DC, right along that pedestrian area where there's all these trendy restaurants and bars and what splash things. There's a sign there, there's a permitted SSO on Potomac. Somebody, that's a different state, but there is, and maybe being in DC, maybe that's not a good comparison. But,
It's the operational redundancy that I'm playing
Yeah.
on here, because most mechanical systems of wastewater treatment plant have two pumps, one always in a lead and a lag, so you always have that, if one goes down, you don't lose them all, you always have a backup. But if these SSOs are sealed, you're gonna lose that operational redundancy and quickly take an operational activity to move flow from a block barrel to an open barrel.
plus you could have impacts on other parts of the system.
Sure. So that's one of the reasons that we're really meeting with the department, so that we can focus on that word all. Any questions? All right. The NPDS renewal, I still have no update on that. We'll look into the status on that as well when we get to Pittsburgh. And the H2A DCET grants, as Melissa reported, we're working through activities associated with that. No report on any projects that the wastewater treatment plant, other than the fact we're working with staff to put some of the SCADA system project out to bid through Penn. Questions?
All right, next we got the sewage operations.
Good morning. In my report, I'll be brief here. In the first part of the report, you can see a lot of the work that is taking place down at Thornton Point with Mike Sabo and his staff are finishing up some projects and also have some projects that we're working on. A couple of the items that I will talk about is the a new video camera upgrade at our receiving station to help improve license verification for people that are discharging at our station. We want to make sure that everybody is paying their fair share. We're also through the process of reviewing procedures and permits, and there may be some changes coming to that within the next couple of months. We're also dealing with, and we anticipate this to be put out on the bid, the conduit wiring project associated with the SCADA system. It's telecommunication lines, so we're looking for this to be out to bid probably by the end of the month or the first part of July, and anticipated completion sometime in August. As Melissa and Tom talked about, we're in preparation for a meeting with DEP down at Pittsburgh. Also, we are continuing with our commitment infrastructure of our interceptor lines, and I think Tom spoke about it. We have to review some Robinson pipe link proposal associated with the interceptor siphon cleaning, and also a sonar method that has been used in previous. JRA this past week sponsored a beautification project on Monaco Boulevard in addition with the city of Johnstown and the Camber County Probation Office. We were able to complete a project on Monaco. So again, we will continue to reach out to the city of Johnstown and other entities to sponsor beautification
Hey, Mike, is that the area where we're not there, that they were like a split rail fence? Looks good.
Yeah, thank you. It was Melissa's idea, so.
Mike got it done there.
Looks good, Melissa. Looks good.
As Melissa spoke about ideal market, I've been meeting with one individual, and this will be item number 4, period number 4 that he has come to his site, and I met with a couple other ones, but the major open house is scheduled for this Friday at 1 o'clock, so we're anticipating a lot of interest there. Again, discussions and planning are continuing with our infrastructure to maintain what we have. Also, next week we're going to be, at their request, Gallup is to discuss some phase pressure testing. So we're looking to speak with them and talk to them about any concerns that they may have. We're also putting out for bid, and the bids are due in July, sorry, June, coordinating efforts on another beautification project along Franklin Street for facade improvements. Have not heard anything more about the proposed dog park, but we'll work with those individuals to bring this full circle. The Iron Street Walking Trail, along with the city of Johnstown, and the third-party contractor, we plan on doing some improvements there. And last week I met with a Minersville group on their ideas and their interests on a beautification at the very end down by the bridge along Iron Street. So we're going to do some landscaping down there and some vegetation control, and also assist them in any ideas that they may have or want to see and utilize our property down in that area. That's all I have. Any questions?
Real quick, Gallagher's phase pressure testing. I mean, they would have some industrial verification.
They reached out to Melissa and myself, so we'll talk with them and see exactly what are some of their concerns, and I'll report back to the board next month on that meeting.
Bill, Mike's mention of the dog park, that's the property at 119 Jackson Street,
Yes.
so we're able to move forward with the demolition. It's just because it was Act 90 properly by the city.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I don't.
Yeah, I'd like to see the papers with you
Oh, yes, no
before you let the contract.
No
Yes.
problem. I just want to make sure that, because then we can close that portion out with that
Yes.
contract. That was the last
Yes.
property.
Yes.
And I just received an email today. Mike, were you copied on the email about the downtown group actually approved to allocate a portion of the $10,000 that they received from the city towards that project also?
Yeah, the county did make a commitment that once they get ownership, they will turn it over to us.
What about the ownership? Is that the clarified?
That's the.
They've got, the county has to file a suit, and the assistant county solicitor is dithering around it. Not that he's not going, it's just, they can't get service, they can't find this person who bid $230,000 for 8 or so properties in Johnstown, and the check bounced, and they can't find the person. And he's having issues with his service. There were, I mentioned solutions to it. You know, when you can't find somebody and you make a delivery, you are allowed to apply to the court for provide notice by publication in the newspaper. That's sometimes you see an ad in the newspaper that says legal claim. Yeah. So it is proceeding. The county has taken official steps to they've authorized the assistant county solicitor to file a lawsuit to get the property back, and they passed a motion saying when they get it back, they'll give it to us. And just let me see the act.
Of course, absolutely. I just want to make sure. I'd like to close that grant out, and that was the last property on that.
Out of curiosity, is the county pursuing the other proproperties?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, they're gonna
okay,
do them all.
good.
They're gonna do
It's
them
not
all.
relevant for us, but I just, you know,
They're in a limbo
peace of
right
mind,
now.
yeah.
Nobody, again, nobody's paid taxes for 2 years on the properties.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Speak to, So this past month, we settled on the atrium. The Redevelopment Authority is the owner of the atrium. The next two things to go on will be Melissa following up with the EPA about the asbestos. And we need to give a lease to Croy and Wilson so they can go in there and start doing their parts of it. George Kovacic is preparing a rough draft lease on behalf of Croy and Wilson. And this isn't one we can just take our standard form and fit into because how funny the money issues are. It creates different items. So George said he'd take care of it. So it's good.
And they have funded absolutely every part of ownership of this property. They paid the insurance for the year. They paid to have all the keys rekeyed. They had Mark Services in there for a roof. He has not expended $1 on this project.
And the
They've
lease,
been very
the
responsible.
lease is intended to set up, to document that
Yes.
kind of situation. So the other thing I recorded, we've been working on these environmental covenants and the Act 2 clearances of the Lower Cambria since 2005. And I recorded the final environmental covenant, and after it came back, sent it down to the DEP this month. And that's for the balance of the lower property. It's not for the upper property, but it's for the balance of the lower property. So we're really moving ahead and good. That all that land is now Act 2 certified, which gives it a degree of environmental protection.
Not the upper community, doesn't have anything to do with 37.
This did, that map, it did?
No, this is the bottom.
Okay, that's how I saw it written. Okay.
Where existing businesses are.
Correct.
We're existing, and Rosedale,
Yeah.
the little Rosedale area around the corner and that, but nothing up high. And I did the annual opinion for the audit in May, and met back and forth that resulted in the recommendation that you agreed to on the theater, as presented by the executive director. And we've been doing deeds, and we've been putting the deeds out for the land bank. So pretty much as soon as they come in, within a month, the deeds are back out to the individuals, put back in taxation. That's all I have.
57 property.
How many?
57.
57. They're back in taxation.
Okay, I guess we need to take a motion to accept all the
I'll make them.
statements. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr. Hasselman?
Yes.
Mr. Trusella?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get right into our resolutions. A resolution of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Johnstown authorizing payment of certain obligations related to sewage operations in accordance with standing resolution number 3869. Make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr. Hasselman?
Yes.
Mr. Trusella? Right. Yes.
Okay, resolution of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Johnstown authorizing the executive director to accept the deed for a parcel of land in the Coopersdale neighborhood on which sits the Welcome to Coopersdale sign. Tax map number 90-001-111-000 from TLC's properties. That's Lamar Advertising at no cost to the authority. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a question. Is Lamar, is there a billboard on this property?
No.
They just.
Have a
I
good
was thinking about rent. I was thinking about rent. Okay. Never mind.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's do the roll call.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr. Hasselman?
Yes.
Mr. Trusella?
Yes.
Ms. Wright?
Okay, a resolution of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Johnstown authorizing the executive director to accept the deed from Cambria County for a parcel of land located in the Warnerstown neighborhood, tax map number 77-004-111.000 for the new the fire training school. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Okay, roll call, please. Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Westlake? Mr. Truesdale? Ms. Ray?
Happy Pride.
Sorry.
Resolution D, a resolution of the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Johnstown authorizing the one-year extension of contract number 2019-WW-TP1 to Lindy Inc. for the bulk purchase of liquid oxygen for the Dorning Point wastewater treatment plant. Is there a motion?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Ms. Hugo?
Yes.
Mr. Hasselman?
Yes.
Ms. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Truesdale?
Yes.
Okay, I think we don't have any table matters, I don't think we have any new business, so we'll open it up to public comment. Is there anybody on the phone out there that we haven't heard? It doesn't sound like it, but if you got comments, now's your chance. Okay, do we have public comment here? Okay, not today. Okay, so I guess we can, do you have anything?
No, I didn't. Laura, did you mention to me anything that was an executive session? I feel
I
like
do
we
have an executive
Is
session.
that okay? If that's okay, just a quick executive session. And I apologize, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, legal matters.
Okay.
So what do we
And if
have
you
to
put a
do?
note of that at the end of the minutes.
What do we have to do?
We would, is there a need to take action after the executive session?
No.
Okay, well then we adjourn into executive session.
Okay, is there a motion
I'll
to
make it.
adjourn into executive session? Is there a second? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Pascarella?
Yes.
Mr. Hasselman?
Yes.
Ms. Ray? Mr. Truesdale?
Yes.
Stay here.
Questions?
I waited, shorter, talk now, either way works. Short.
There we go, I'm live again. Okay. So, that was fun, as they always are. That was fun, as they always are. Johnstown Redevelopment Authority meeting. So I guess they are still trying to do something about the State Theater, it seems like. Sounds like the JRA is no longer involved with that. That's what it sounded like to me. I don't know. Doesn't sound a little fishy. And honestly, that was one of the most boring meetings I ever sat through. I mean, I don't really look for anything all that awesome to happen, but coming from the shit show that it was last month, them trying to shut people up and what have you, dropping stuff. Well, that was mild in comparison. So. Did I get a ticket yet? I'm 5 minutes over. Probably did. So I'm gonna run to the vape shop real quick and plug the meter. And then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have a good day. It's a nice day. It's not quite as hot as it was yesterday, but I bet you it's gonna be that way. So, yeah. Let's see if I have a quarter in my truck. I think I do. So I'm plugging it right now. Plugging the meter. Oh, it is warm. It is warm. My last quarter. Better get some more. All right, yeah, so thanks for watching my live streams, as you always do. Really appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm going to go into the vape shop here and get a vape. And then I'm going to go home and enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day. I didn't, yeah, it's a nice day. Comment below what you think of Johnstown Redevelopment Authority, the sewer authority is who they are. That's who we pay to take care of our sewers. How they are involved in, being a land bank and a real estate company. I think that's kind of strange. Does that happen in your area? Does that happen where you live? That's just normal operations here in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So again, appreciate you watching. I have a little travel vlog video I'm working on. Trying to get it out in the next few days. It's for my trip to San Diego and Las Vegas to see the Dead at the Sphere. It was fun. Gonna go home and actually work on that for a little bit. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye. This is the hardest fucking thing in the world to do.